Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everybody. There is something that has been in practice for decades. I'm talking like almost 50 years. And it can totally support your body, the psychotherapy connected within, and truly make you feel better and connected. And we're going to learn about this thing, which is called core energetics. And she's a practitioner of that. And she joins us today from Core Conscious Connection. Marian Burke is on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, Steve. How are you?
I'm great. And I learned that you're from my homeland of Long Island. So we're even more connected. I didn't even know that until we got here today.
Oh, there you go. I am so happy. Thank you for having me on your show.
Great to have you on here. And this is truly all about energy, right?
Yes. Yes.
I have been studying energy more intensely than ever in the last 3 or 4 years, but I was aware of it back in the day, but never really realized how powerful it is, how if you have an energy block, how that can impact your life. Why don't we go right there? Let's talk about core energetics. What exactly is it?
Okay, it's a modem to get through the body that we can really get in touch with our trauma. Well, first get in touch with the mass, get in touch with the trauma, clear it out, release the blockages so that the energy can flow freely through the body in every way. Yeah. And we do it with talking, because you have to get the backstory, movement, of course, and touch. But it's all-encompassing. It's very, very powerful. I've spoken to people who were in psychotherapy for years, and they couldn't believe how their lives accelerated and transformed, like from caterpillars into butterflies.
Wow.
Yeah.
When we talk about trauma, and I'm aware of it, and it's my belief there are big T trauma, little T trauma, but all of this, the majority of it, goes back to our childhood. Can we break that down for everybody? Because when somebody hears that word, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, I didn't have any traumas in my life. Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. We all have, because parents are human, and being human by definition is we make mistakes. All of us, the parents, the grandparents, whatever. This is not about blaming. This is about taking responsibility for self.
Yep.
So think of this as like an iceberg. The tip of the iceberg is above the ocean. That's our consciousness. I want a great relationship. I want to make a lot of money. I want to have a great job. But then below the surface is this huge area that is unconscious. That part that's below the surface is unconscious. And there are a lot of negative and positives within that unconscious mind that create maybe the opposite of what we really want in our lives.
And this is the stuff that's holding us back from having the things that we really want in our lives.
Absolutely.
Give an example of a trauma, just so we have better understanding for everybody.
Okay, let's say as a child, you get hit, or somebody does something to you, and you want to strike out. Well, of course you're not going to strike out, because whoever hit you or did something to you, they'll do it again and even worse. So what happens is the energy, let's say you want to hit somebody, that energy goes into the musculature, the fascia, the bones, everything, and stays there. It stays there until it's released. And then the defense mechanism that the child creates, which are absolutely phenomenally intelligent, the defense system comes up and protects the child from using that energy to strike back. The problem is, or arises, when we have this energy block in our body, wherever. It could be the back, the neck, the mouth. You don't say what you want to say. Vision, you don't want to see what's there, what have you. But this energy block can be identified and removed through specific physical movements. And very often they are, the blocks themselves, as well as the defenses, are unconscious. So through this work, you actually remove the mask, which is what we show the world. We show the world what we want the world to see, not what they truly see, but what we want the world to see. Then under that mask, well, what is that mask hiding? It's hiding fear, anger, shame, worthlessness, yada, 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 all the negative stuff that you can think of. And we're all humans, so we all have this. And some people have more trauma than others. I'm sure you've seen people walking that are very stiff. They're very rigid. They can hardly move. I mean, in my mind, I visualize like a bodybuilder type that can't, that's, you know, they don't move, their bodies don't move freely. Well, that's the defenses. That's the defenses in the body from the emotional trauma. And some people, you know, some people have more trauma than others, but it's still there. It's still there. It's still in the body. It needs to be released, recognized, loved, and let go. And the more we bring the unconscious to the conscious mind, to the light of day, we can release it, and it no longer has power over us. Now, people in psychotherapy, they sit and talk, and they can understand their problems, where they come from, why, whatever. But guess what, Steve? Everything in their lives stayed the same because they can't change. They can't change because it's in the body, and it needs to be released and recognized and loved and gone, transformed.
It's all about the subconscious, isn't it?
Yes, most of it is, yes.
Yeah.
But let's say, okay, you go to work, and your boss, he comes in, he's having a bad hair day, and he says something negative to you, and you want to punch him. Well, you can't, you lose your job, right?
Right.
So, but that energy, again, is added to the muscles, the fascia, everything in that arm that you want to strike out with. But again, it goes back to your childhood. And we create things, we draw to us experiences that are going to make us grow, make us see. Like, sometimes the universe runs us over. Not once, but twice, and maybe 3 times to wake us up. Yeah, it's just amazing.
It is in that the subconscious wants to protect us. And
yes.
that's why it remembers, I'll use that word, remembers things that have happened in our life, but it doesn't know the difference between good and bad. So the subconscious is actually pretty dumb. And then
No, it doesn't. There's tons of positive and there's tons of negative. Mm-hmm. Like you and I are walking down the street and I get hit with a brick on my head. Hey, how come it hit me and not you? Because there was something in me that drew it to me and not you.
Why is it that we can't do this on our own to change our subconscious? Typically, I mean, I've gone through, when I've learned what's going on with the subconscious, I've done hypnotherapy, I've done other modalities, or can we change our subconscious?
Absolutely. Because through the body movement, stuff comes up from the unconscious, and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? Yes, absolutely. But you ask an interesting question. Why can't we do it ourselves? Why can't we just learn what the movements are and do them in our home and be finished with it? I'm going to tell you why. Because it's very important to have a witness that is there in a safe container where you can express, and it's okay. It's not only okay, it's encouraged, and you're still loved, no matter what comes out. That's very, very important, because through acceptance from someone else, it assists us in accepting ourselves, or whatever that negative thing is. And here it is out in the light of day, and it's being accepted by another human being. Well, if they can accept it, why can't I? It's part of me.
There's other modalities that you can manipulate energy.
Yes.
And so many different, stuck energy. We could clear your chakras. We could do Reiki. There's a lot of different things. What makes core energetics different?
Well, because it, just like my name, my email is, it's core conscious. So the central of who we are becomes conscious, more and more conscious, and there's a huge connection between the mind the heart, and the genitals. Yeah. Like, it's so important to get there. Yes, you can clean your chakras, and I think that's very important, too, to be in touch with those energy centers and see how they're doing and clean them. And meditation is very important. And visualization, all these things together. And I have a lot of things in my toolbox that I work with my clients with. They're all positive. They're all wonderful. And they're all about reaching a human being's heart and soul and where they are in life and bringing them further on. I am a guide, but that's the other thing about core energetics. Nobody tells you, hey, this is your problem. No, you discover it yourself because it's through your own body.
Wow.
And your body never lies.
Your body never lies. It's so
Never.
true. And one of the most important things you can do is listen to your body, because it's talking, it's got things to say, and if you don't listen, it'll make sure you listen.
Absolutely. I have to tell you this one story. I had a client come in, and we did some energetic work, and I, had her get in touch with her body, her heart, her solar plexus, and I asked her where she was feeling blocked, and she said, in my back. And I said, if that block could speak, what would it say? She said, I'm unworthy. I said, okay. So you're unworthy. And she said, no, I am worthy. I am worthy. And I thought, oh, my gosh, okay, she's not ready to work on it. But, in fact, she was ready to. She chose not to. Because nothing is going to come up from the unconscious that we can't handle. Nothing.
Let me think about that for a sec. I really need to process that. Nothing is going to come up from the subconscious that we can't handle.
That we're not ready to handle, correct.
And when you say come up, how do you mean?
Come up to consciousness.
Okay.
Come up to consciousness.
Wow. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. Tell me about your journey, Marian. How did this all happen for you? I got to believe that it changed your life, I'm assuming.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness, yes. It really, really did. Actually, I'm the youngest of 7, and one of my sisters came home, and she said, hey, did you ever hear of this core energetics? I said, no. I was, 18 or 19, I was in college. And she said, well, you have to try it. I said, well, what is it? She goes, I can't explain it. You just have to try it. I said, hey, all right. My family's very open with trying things, whatever. And so I went. I don't even remember how I found this therapist, or practitioner. Anyway, I went to her and I walked in and she said to me, how are you, Marian? And I said, I'm fine. I'm thinking, I'm great. I have a car. I have a great job. I'm in school. I'm on a swimming team. I have friends. Yeah, what could be wrong? Okay, Marian, let's go. Here, let's get to work. Well, holy cow, what came out of me was freaking amazing. There was so much anger there, and I had no idea it was there. I was totally cut off from it. But let me tell you something, Steve. When I left that session, I felt like I was 20 pounds lighter, that I was walking on air. I said, oh, man, this core energetics is great. It is great. It's wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah. And, after working in core energetics with the therapist, my third eye opened. Yeah. And I started getting, visions of whatever, protection from me. And, that was amazing. Like, people usually grow up, they can see things, they're psychic, they had it when they were a child and all this kind of stuff. So I was always an intuitive empath, but not seeing anything or hearing anything. I wasn't clairvoyant or audiovoyant, no. But after working, I did become so. So it is amazing work.
You just reminded me, I had an energy session with somebody a couple of years ago, and I think it was a chakra balancing. And they went through, they cleaned things up, but they told me my third eye was mucked up, and they tried to clear it, and did to a point, but couldn't totally clear it. And they said, it might just be that way. But then they said, but you, meaning me, make up for it with other abilities, and they said I have a keen sense of being able to spot BS like a mile away. And they said,
all right,
that's how you make up for it.
that's a gift.
I guess, but I would like to have the third eye working better too. What are you doing when you're working with somebody? Is it sort of, because I'm pulling from what I know. Reiki.
Okay.
I know what Reiki is. I know how it's done. I've watched it. I've witnessed it. I've had it done virtually. Chakra balancing and such. Is core energetics somewhat similar in the way it's done?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. You know, when I'm also Reiki healer, whatever. But with Reiki, you really, you are doing the work, and the person is laying there, sitting there, or whatever, right?
Yep.
In core energetics, the person is doing the work. They are moving their bodies, and it is amazing to see the transformation while they're moving. It's like mundane. They're just doing whatever they're doing, with their bodies that I ask them to do. And then all of a sudden, an emotion moves in, and they go, pachoo!
Wow.
It's like, even in the fairy tales, and it's usually negative, okay, that comes up, because that's what we're holding down. That's what we're hiding from ourselves and others, okay? But just like in all the fairy tales, that hero or the heroine has to go through the lake of fire. They have to they have to get through the monsters. They have to do this, they have to do that before they get to what? Their prize. Before they get to their own wonderfulness. Because people don't realize how wonderful they are. They're not in touch with their own gifts. Like each of us have our own special gifts. Each one of us. We have a treasure chest within. And this is what core energetics does. It gets you in touch with who you truly are and who you are meant to be. Yeah.
Well, it's my belief in talking with different coaches, therapists, that the number one belief that we have that doesn't support us is we're not good enough. We all, pretty much all of us, have that in us to some extent.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. We have that, and we have unworthiness.
Yeah.
We don't deserve the great job.
Yeah.
We don't deserve the wonderful money. We don't deserve a happy life. But the whole thing is we're supposed to be here to be joyous. And we're not, because we're weighed down by this other stuff, this muck that we have to go through and release. But, I'll tell you what, too, Steve, a lot of people are not willing to do it. They're not willing to give up their own happiness, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know why.
No, because it's better to deal with the devil you know than the one that you don't.
Well, there's also the fear of the unknown. There's also change. We're afraid of change. It's great to just get comfortable in what you are and what you're doing. So I can understand that. I'm intrigued, Marian, when you say that the person that you're working with moves their body, because where I gave the Reiki example, and you illustrated it. We just sit there or do nothing. That's it.
Yeah.
What's actually going on when you're working with somebody?
They're getting in touch with their negative emotions, and they are releasing them. So all those times somebody wanted to punch that they never could, they get to release all that energy that's holding them back. Maybe it's holding them back from being an artist or a writer or whatever. Who knows? But it's so freeing. I can't even. Wow. I can't emphasize that enough. It is just so freeing.
Can you give an example of working with somebody, what they were challenged by or what their goals were, and then how core energetics supported them?
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Someone came in and they had a hard time talking, and they have a job where they have to speak in front of people, and they were having a really hard time, and they didn't want, they just were so filled with fear and, what have you. So I gave them we started core energetic, work, energizing, and anyway, this person all of a sudden stopped. got into the movement. Yeah. And then all of a sudden stopped. I said, what's going on? And he started crying. I said, tell me. And he said, to be good is to be quiet. He said, I don't know where that comes from. I never remember hearing that. Like, oh, okay. So, that was a total eye-opener for him. He had this in his body. To be good is quiet. So how the heck is he supposed to give lectures and talk to people if being good means being quiet? And it was so painful because he realized that he was stifled, who he really is. Like, he wasn't allowed to express himself. And that was so painful. And he cried. He cried, and he released that pain. So very often there's anger, there's fear, there's this, that. We go through that, and then we get to the kernel of truth. I was denied who I was. I couldn't express. And then they cry about it. And it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. Because they just slayed a dragon that they didn't even know they had. He didn't even know he had. Yeah.
You helped him remove the shackles from his legs and his arms and gave him freedom. And it's so true. Look, you talk about people that don't see abundance in their life. I know one person in particular, really good friend, and she has that belief, I'll never have enough money. I have to buy a car. I'm never going to have enough, da-da-da-da. And she is a great connector. She does so much charity work. She's a single mom, struggling typically in a week, month. And I know through our conversations that from her ex-husband, he put these beliefs on her about money, and also her mother about, and we, many of us, depending on our age, when you're a little bit older, what did your parents always used to say? Money doesn't grow on trees. Be careful. Yeah. Don't waste money. So what is that doing? It's imprinting that, money is scarce. Money, I'm not going to have enough,
Oh, you know what? It's not only that. She's putting it out to the universe. The universe says, no money for her. On an energetic level. We are made up of energies from the sky and the earth. And when we put negative things out, that's what we get. It's like, okay, you don't want any money. You won't get any.
Oh, for sure. Well, you know what? That's a whole other podcast
yes,
in terms of manifestation and all that. How does somebody connect with you to start a conversation, learn a little bit more about core energetics?
Well, they can go to my email, my core energetic email, which is coreconsciousconnection @protonmail.com. Or they can call me or text me at 516-273-2072. Now, there are core energetic practitioners. Thank God there are more and more. But, particularly in the United States, but they're in Europe. They're all over the world. And I can work with people from around the world on Zoom, which is a blessing. That's a wonderful thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I've had, when we talk about Reiki, done that many times, but energy knows no time and space. And that's why you're able to do it. And, if somebody says, how does that work? When you say to somebody, hey, positive vibes for a good outcome on that surgery, or, sending prayers your way. Somebody lives in another state. What are you doing? You're sending energy, positive energy. Yes. Same stuff that we're talking about here. Wonderful talking with you today. Marian.
And you too, Steve. You're so intelligent, and you're a wonderful interviewer. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I look forward to more.
Well, thank you. I don't know about those things you mentioned. I'm just curious. and like anybody else, I got traumas and want to learn about it. So that's what we do here. Thank you so much, and we'll catch up next time, okay?
All right. God bless. Bye-bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips that you plan in advance, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends for which you make a group chat 3 months before so that nobody or anything is missing? or your daughter's first birthday party. You planned it with such dedication that instead of the first, it felt like our 15s. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit. And make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.